What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of Trinity Road Tape. First and foremost, happy holidays. As we finish out the end of 2024, we've still got a bowl game to play against an in-state opponent, but I'm starting to turn my attention to 2025 and the Pac's chances at improving on a pretty disappointing season. And with Savage Wolves and One Pack NIL doing a phenomenal job of retaining pretty much everybody that State wanted, and the work in the transfer portal to land big pieces like offensive lineman Teague Anderson already underway, what I'm coming back to, at least with the offense, is it really comes back to CJ Bailey. He was put in a pretty bad spot this year, wasn't expecting to play a whole lot of football, learned on the fly, and showed glimpses of greatness and also struggled a bit. And so I wanted to go back and look at one of the plays against Duke that, to me, highlights an area where CJ can significantly improve, and that's with reading the field, particularly watching what safeties do. What we're going to have here is we're late in the first quarter. State's already given up a safety. They've fumbled inside of their own 40-yard line. Duke has converted points on that. And you're down 12-0 at home, kind of, in 15 minutes or less, right? You're pretty shocked by that. So State needs points here if they're going to try and come back in this game. What we've got here is State's in 10 personnel. So you've got your one running back, your 0 tight ends. You've got 4 wideouts, 2 to the field and 2 to the boundary. Duke, to start with, is in what is technically a cover 2 look. So you've got 2 high safeties here. The second I hit play on this, you're going to watch this safety to the boundary start to roll down a little bit this way. So if you're reading the defense from CJ's perspective, you're probably aware that something is up. So for starters, what you're going to get is a Haas concept. This is something that NC State ran a lot with CJ Bailey. That is hitches outside, and then you've got a seam, and then on the other end, you've got that mirror, so you've got this seam route and another hitch. So I'll hit play on this, and I'll slow it down a little bit so we can take this a little bit more methodically here. But the first thing you're going to see, as I mentioned, is this safety that is starting to creep down, and this safety to the boundary, or excuse me, to the field, is already opening his hips and moving to kind of the middle of the field. So we're getting rotation in that the defense is rotating in this manner away from the field side where there is a lot of open space in this area, right? So I'll hit play on this. CJ's looking to the boundary side first. That's where the shorter throws are going to be. Dakari here is not really in the play. The short access throw has been cut off at this point by the linebacker, or by the safety here. KC is doing his best impression to get into the space here, but he's surrounded by 4 guys. I want you to watch Justin Joly here as we finish out me hitting play on this. So he's going to throw his hand in the air because he is wide open. CJ's going to take the check down instead. He didn't like the picture. You get a gain of 4. Okay. So when we have a situation like this where you've got the defense rotating strong, as I mentioned, away from the field side here, you should know as a quarterback that that's where you can go. For whatever reason, CJ's reading this. He's looking at kind of the cluster down here where his first 2 reads were, and he just wants to make sure he's not taking a negative play, so he's dumping it down to Hollywood Smothers here, which is fine. The problem is that when you see Justin Joly run right by the linebacker who sits here, you've got 7 points. That is a touchdown that he just doesn't make his progression to or get to in his progression. And that is the next step in CJ Bailey's game. Because actually, I think I skipped too far. You're actually going to see a beautiful throw to Justin Joly on the previous play where he needles it between 3 defenders and gets it to him for a chunk gain. So you know that the ability is there. But for him, we saw throughout the year he struggles at times to make true progression reads. Sometimes it looks like he's just kind of going through the motions, looking one direction, getting a feel for what's happening rather than actually reading out what's happening from the defense. So, this was a dagger. NC State ended up scoring 3 points on this drive. Obviously, only put up 19 points in the game and lost by 10 to Duke. But we saw red zone struggles throughout the year for NC State. And when you, especially in the Duke game, when you score one touchdown on 6 red zone trips, I think it was, you look back at plays like this where Justin Joly is waving his hand in the air and you're wondering what might have been. So, again, not going to put tremendous amount of blame or criticism on Bailey for stuff like this. I mean, a true freshman getting thrown into the fire after you expecting to redshirt behind, one of college football's best players is a tough spot to be in. But wanted to highlight this today as an example of room to grow and things we can expect moving forward. So excited to see what CJ does in the offseason. Stay tuned for more coverage from Trinity Road Times, and happy holidays.